welcome to Secrets of the Soul, Inspirational Women Living with Purpose. Today we have Alison. Hi, Alison.
Hey, Alison.
Hi. How are you going?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. So we wanted to begin with you explaining who you are and what you do.
Oh, well, how much time have we got?
As much as you need.
Oh, dear. So, my name's Alison Filihia. I am a mother of two gorgeous daughters who are now 24 and 19. I'm married. I've been married for 25 years.
Wow.
And I know, wow. And I live here on the beautiful Central Coast, born in Sydney in the Manly area, and moved to the Central Coast nearly 20 years ago now. And that's where I've raised my family mainly. And then 10 years ago, I opened my business, my first practice, the Bloom Collective, my kinesiology practice 10 years ago here on the Central Coast. And it's just grown and grown from there in so many different ways. So that's I guess, who I am and what I'm been up to.
That's awesome. So you said that you do kinesiology. Can you go into a bit of depth about what that actually is?
Okay, so kinesiology is sometimes a little tricky to explain to people and to understand. But basically, kinesiology is just a modality that combines kind of chiropractic muscle testing practices with traditional Chinese medicine, and so it combines like Western and Eastern medicine together. So it's basically how I like to explain it to my clients is kinesiology. I use something called muscle testing, where I test different muscles in your body that connect to different meridians. People have heard of the acupuncture system, often like that. And these energy flows in our body, one for each organ. We can determine whether there is blocked chi or stagnant chi in these energies, in these meridians, that can sometimes be, when they're blocked and stagnant, can be causing disease in our organs, our glands, our hormones, our mental, emotional state. And I become a little detective by using muscle testing to actually ask my client's body. I usually use like an arm as an indicator muscle, which gives me yes/no feedback. So I kind of use your inner wisdom to ask your body all the time, what is causing your issues, whether it's health problems or emotional problems. Sorry.
That's amazing.
He wanted to be a part, or he or she wanted to be a part of the video. So cute.
And so your body will give me feedback all the time, yes/no feedback, whether it's emotional, nutritional, energetic, if you've got toxins, deficiencies, and I can check your whole body holistically, and then use certain natural techniques and vibrational healing tools to help restore balance in your body. And then your body does what it does naturally. It starts to get better and well. So that was it in a nutshell, I guess.
Yeah, no, that was a really good description. Thank you.
It's a great way to explain it as well. I was looking on your website, and you do a similar explanation about what it is and everything, because I hadn't really heard of it before, and it's just nice to be able for you to be able to explain it, so you know, we can understand exactly what it is. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Who has influenced you the most during your journey?
During my journey,
Your life journey, your healing journey. Any part, yeah.
Professional, yeah, whatever. Like,
well, I guess you can have positive and negative influences. So
yeah.
I guess the negative influences has then caused me to look for positive influences, I guess. And some of the people that have inspired me and my positive influences over my lifetime, literally, I think all those years ago, when I was trying to heal from years of chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, I was, you know, searching, going to all different doctors and, you know, practitioners trying to like heal my body, but nothing was ever showing up in my body that was wrong with me, until I went to this amazing guy called Danny Lewis, who used a technique called emotional freedom technique with me. And he just changed my life, because for the first time in my whole life, he identified that my emotional distress in my life was causing the physical illnesses in my body. And that just blew my mind, that how quickly the pain in my body, the fatigue in my body, you know, by releasing all my stress in my body, my suppressed emotions, actually helped my body get better. So, you know, learning from him, learning emotional freedom technique, then going on to learn about kinesiology and the amazing teachers that I had at college who inspired me so much, taught me so much about the mind, body, spirit connection. And then literally then coming across, you know, what many people have found, the books by Louise Hay and all the Hay House authors. I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours over the last 15 years listening to Hay House Radio and all the amazing authors and people on there that have inspired me, from Sonia Choquette. Doreen Virtue was a huge inspiration to me for years, all her work about angels and earth angels and empaths and how to use angel cards and oracle cards. That inspired me massively. Esther Hicks, Abraham and Esther Hicks, and all the mediums, all the spirit mediums. I was just such a closet medium for years and years and years, just in awe of these people who could get up on stage and do these mediumship events and just talk to spirit, like John Edwards and Lisa Williams and James Van Praagh. I literally spent hours just absorbing it all and just wishing one day that, you know, I could be even a little bit like that. So
yeah. So nice to have that inspiration when you see someone and you put that vision out there, and then, you know, look at you now, like compared to, you know, like going through all of those experiences and looking at all those other people and thinking, wow, like I really would love to do that.
Yeah. But I want to add in there one other really, really, really important thing that has it totally inspired me over all these years, right back at the beginning, and that is an amazing organization called AlAnon. And AlAnon is a support group for people with who have people in their lives with alcoholism or drinking issues. So normally people can think of AA is a place, a support group where people who are trying to get sober or, you know, go to, but then there's another equally important support group called AlAnon that helps, you know, partners, family and friends of people who, you know, have these issues in their life too, and it's hard to deal with. And so going to AlAnon, you know, nearly 20 years ago and learning some really, really important spiritual practices and principles in the 12-step program, and taught me not just about dealing with someone with a drinking problem, but gave me the tools for life to actually live my life in a healthy, you know, happy way. And so I massively have been inspired by that group and community organization.
That's amazing.
Is that a local organization, or is it like a, you know?
It's worldwide. It is totally worldwide. They have, you know, if you Google it, they actually have online meetings now, which is amazing. Back in the day, I went to my local one. There was a few locally to me that I would go to religiously every week. And
you know if there's any on the Central Coast around here?
Yes, definitely. There's I think still one running in Kincumber and Woy Woy. Yeah. And yeah, I'm not quite sure of what the actual schedule is at the moment, but definitely if you Google AlAnon, they'll have all the meetings listed and stuff like that. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's great to have that organization there. Like, it's, you know, to be able to go to for people in those sort of situations. And I had never heard about it until you've told us about it.
Yeah, me neither.
The other day, and now obviously sharing that knowledge with people is so important for people to be able to cope in that sort of a situation.
It literally changed my life, and is gobsmacking to me that it took me so long to understand what I was dealing with, or even to know anyone, you know, no doctor, no therapist, even after the few years that I was starting to tell doctors what I was living with and dealing with and stuff like that. Not one doctor ever or therapist ever mentioned AlAnon to me. It wasn't till a neighbour finally mentioned to me, and she is a nurse. And it was literally when I walked through those doors for the first time, as confronting and scary and vulnerable it is to go to a meeting all by yourself about such a difficult subject that just is so devastating to deal with by yourself all the time, not knowing what you're dealing with and dealing with this kind of disease, which it is a disease. And this disease doesn't discriminate. It you know, happens to anyone in any culture, any socio-economic situation or anything. And when I walk through those doors and listen to these people just share, and that's all you have to do is just listen to about sharing and learning some steps and some things, I literally thought these people were looking through my window telling my story. And that's what you find in these places, that everyone's telling the same kind of story, just different people with different clothing. And it was so amazing to finally go, wow, I'm not the only person living with this kind of roller coaster, this insanity.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone.
And just taught me that, you know, addiction, alcoholism, it's not just the person on the street who doesn't work. There's very high functioning, loving, caring people that, you know, also have drinking problems, and it's a mental, emotional illness as well. And just knowing that, and just has helped so much turn around my life, and not only life of my family, but my husband, and, you know, so.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people who suffer in behind closed doors, you know, it is confronting. And you know, I myself have lived with an alcoholic over the years, and you know, it's not easy, and it's, you know, it's just great to know that there is something out there that can help, and it is a disease, and it is something that needs to be brought up to that surface and be able to you know, cope with. So yeah, it's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you say, Alison, that is what changed your life in the terms of bringing you to your career?
100%. When I look back at my life now today, I knew ever since I was a little girl that I was always kind of, you know, when people say, what do you want to do when you get older? Like, I always, you know, had that idea, I want to be like some kind of social worker, or, you know, counselor or therapist. I used to, like, you know, when I lived in Sydney, we lived on the northern beaches, and my grandparents lived in the city in Double Bay. And in order to go and pick them up every Sunday or go and visit, my dad used to drive us through King's Cross. And I used to, like, as a little girl, look out the window and see homeless people and people on the street. And I was like, why? You know, I'd always be like, why is that? Like, what can we do to help? Why isn't anyone helping them? And it was just, you know, something that I always felt would be, you know, something really good to do. But when I told my mum, you know, year 12, like, they're like, what do you want to do, Alison? And when I said, oh, I want to be a social worker, or, you know, something like that, you know, fortunately my mum, like, you know, she was only trying her best to, like, steer me in the right direction. She'd be like, oh, what do you want to do that for? You just, you know, have to deal with everyone's problems all the time. So I kind of, like, even though I got into university, surprises, and got in to do a Bachelor of Arts in psychology, I kind of deferred because I'd also got a job in my other passion, which was art. I got a job in a graphic design studio. So the funny thing is that the soul knows what the soul wants to do. And so not long after that, I met my beautiful husband at the age of 21, and we moved in together so quickly. It was just like, you know, love at first, bam. And the funny thing is that when you love to help fix and rescue people, you tend to attract a lot of people that need helping, fixing and rescuing. So many times we can attract the little broken birds or the little lost puppies and want to bring them home. But literally, like meeting my husband and dealing and having to deal with the issues, you know, from such a young age that I didn't know what I was dealing with him. You know, literally I feel like I got my university degree in life experience just being married to him. And if it wasn't for him, and as painful as it was for so long dealing with addiction with him, as painful as it was and as crippling as it affected my body, because it eventually just crippled my body with so much fatigue and pain and fibromyalgia for years that I was struggling to recover from. I literally wouldn't have found the career that I have today, that I absolutely love to death, because I didn't know about kinesiology all those years ago. I didn't know about like energy healing, mind, body medicine, all this stuff back then. And so literally you have to go through this journey sometimes to be able to, in divine timing, find all this stuff. So
yeah,
that's the question.
so I believe everything happens for a reason as well. Like, you go one step and then the next thing and then the next thing, and then it just sort of, it's like a ripple effect, and then you sort of learn through your experiences, and you know, you learn more from those experiences than you would in uni and, you know, university and everything like that. Obviously you do learn things from there, but I feel like life experiences are just a different sort of way of learning. And
more about yourself as well.
It's
amazing.
Like to learn how to take care of my boundaries, you know, AlAnon taught me to, you know, to accept the things you cannot change, courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You cannot change another person. You just cannot. And for people like me or other people who identify as being little empaths or earth angels or helper, fixer, rescuer types, we have to have boundaries with that. We have to like completely surrender that over to a higher power, and you know, it's up to them at the end of the day. And as painful as that is, it's so hard to see someone you love and care about, you know, in some really hard, scary situations. And that's where when I first went to AlAnon, one of the first things they say to you is you've got to let go and let God, or hand things over a higher power. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you talking God to me? Like, I grew up going to Sunday school and Anglican church and that, but I just didn't really resonate with church and God and stuff like that. So it was really confronting for me to hand over the biggest stresses in my life to something I didn't even believe in. It was just like, are you kidding me? Like, how do I hand over all this worry that I have in my life about my family? But little bit by little bit, as I started to hand over little bit by little bit by little bit, miracles just started to happen. Miracles just started to, like, it was just took, you know, takes a long time to get your head around stuff like this, but that's been my life work now, is to do stuff like that.
Take that one step, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's amazing how the universe sometimes can present itself in different ways. And if you're conscious and aware of these signs and symbols, you can go down this pathway. But then all of a sudden the universe will be like, hang on, no, you're going to go this way because you need to learn this lesson before you get to what you want to be doing. So yeah, I feel like the universe talks to us in so many different ways, so many different signs and symbols and meeting people and different things. So yeah, your journey is pretty amazing one, Alison. And I'm so happy that you're here today and sharing this with everyone, because it needs to be out there.
Thank you. I know, when I look back, I just think never in a million years would I think that I'd be doing what I'm doing today. Like I thought I'd be a counsellor or, like, you know, a social worker or something like that. I never ever thought that I would be doing something that's so multidimensional, just,
Yeah.
you know,
The deep work. You're doing the deep work. Yeah.
Yeah. And then literally to, you know, not long after I opened my practice 10 years ago, my father passed away. And it was 6 months after that this some friends of mine said, did you want to come to a little workshop we're going to connect to your spirit guides? And I was always so, you know, passionate about this kind of stuff, but wasn't understanding my intuitive gifts yet. So I went along, and we were sitting there in this lady's room, and she was like helping us to like tune in or call in our guides and blend their energies with us and everything. And I was like, oh wow, this is what I do all the time. Like, I can't believe, like, you know, this is what I do, but I didn't really know what I was doing, like, and I thought everybody could do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, a couple of days later, I was sitting in my backyard having my morning cup of coffee, and all of a sudden I felt this like energy come over me, and I'm like, oh, that's really weird. I'm going to practice what I did the other night at this, you know, little workshop. So I'm like, because I've always been very intuitive and I can feel, sense everything. Clairsentience is, you know, my strongest suit. But I was like, okay, come on, blend with me. I was opening up, I'm calling in the light and Archangel Michael for protection and all this stuff. And then I said, okay, so who are you? What's your name? My guide, you know. And then I heard this name, Tony. And I was like, Tony? That's a weird spirit guide name. Anyway, all of a sudden, I heard, no, it's Dad. And I was like, oh my
wow.
God, is this you, Dad? And I got this massive rush of goosebumps and sparkles. And he started to download and blend his energy with me. And like,
oh my
it
God.
was just as excited that I could hear him and connect to him as that, you know, vice versa. And this was, it just opened up and it just kept happening. He was like always blending with me and talking to me. And then little did I know, you know, not long after that, so many of my clients that were booking in to see me all of a sudden were telling me that they're, you know, not over the death of this person or the death of that person. And all of a sudden I'm doing kinesiology with people, but I'm very aware that their loved one is in the room with me and wanting to connect.
Wow.
So I'm like, these people aren't coming even here for this. So I was like, how do I approach this? So I'd be very, very, very gently approaching this with them. Are you open to, like, do you believe in this kind of stuff? And then every time I did it and I opened up and gave the message, it was 100% spot on and just blew them away. And so I was literally being trained on the job all the time doing that as well. Plus with all the kind of other spiritual development, I would then throw myself into workshops and reading and everything else. But it was just crazy.
That is crazy.
I love how all your clients just needed that same thing, you know, they were coming to you and it was like your dad had almost sent them sort of to you in a way, however you want to see it, but like it's like, all the universe just sort of provide you all these people that needed.
Yeah, you were ready for it. You were ready.
Absolutely. I literally felt like they were my little marketing team up there. And, you know, because our loved ones in spirit, they know that, you know, sometimes we're struggling in our life. And a lot of the time it's because of what they've done. So the other amazing thing is that even though when I first opened my practice, my real passion was to help people who had been affected by alcoholism or addiction or things like that. But that kind of stuff's kind of hard to advertise to the public, you know?
Yeah.
You know, little did I know that, you know, all these loved ones in spirit, 90% of the people that were intuitively guided to me, and so many people would say to me, I don't even know why I'm here, or I don't know how I found you, or just someone like, I just found you online, or something told me to just Google connect like this and that. And it's literally because your loved ones in spirit, 90% of them had had alcoholism or abuse or some kind of issues and were trying to apologize or make amends to their child or to their loved one and things like that. And it's just been such an amazing, beautiful journey.
That's so cool how, like, you know, they can like make amends in that way, and you can sort of help them through it and everything. But not even advertising the mediumship, but sort of it's just happening and it's giving you experience, and it's still helps.
Do you advertise that you're a medium now?
Yeah.
I do advertise that I'm a medium on my website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
people can book in sessions with you through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely. So I you know, you can have a combination of, you know, for me, it's not just about the reading, it's about the healing. So I combine kinesiology and my energy healing work to help not only give the messages, but then to heal, you know, the wounds, the hurt, the body from, you know, that kind of stuff as well. So
Amazing.
Hey, is there like any practices that you do that allows you to bring spirit in? I know you said it was like a blended thing, but is there something that you do beforehand to allow that to come through?
I guess, you know, practices, it's about consistency. And there's the one thing that I always learn, like take from AlAnon, and going to regular meetings, going to regular reading literature daily. They have books in AlAnon like called Courage to Change, or daily text that has like daily passages. Just that consistency to you know, consistency to this kind of work is so key. It's like honing that muscle. It's just like any other kind of muscle that hasn't been used very well. Got to like build it up. And it's literally about getting comfortable with being in the receptive mode. So we are so programmed all the time to do, to give, to make things happen. It's very different to just allow and receive. So it's really about getting your mind out of the way, just getting into that receptive mode where you are just allowing and receiving. You are just the receiver, and trusting that spirit knows way more than we do how to do it. It's like they are so much more intelligent than we are, and that they know the best way often to give the messages to you, and start to, you know, you might feel or sense, is this a man or a female? Is this an old person, a young person? Is this an angel and guide? But you do have to be really discerning. There is, you know, sometimes when you do start opening up to spirit, you can like open up to not the highest, purest people you should be connecting to. And so that's a whole other thing. I do a lot of work crossing over earthbound spirits. There's a lot of times we sometimes have earthbound spirits, or like just energy vampires. A lot of people will say, and this has happened to me, like when you're in the shower, because water is a huge conductor of energy as well. So when you're in the shower, or you're just driving, or for me, it's when I'm washing up or cooking, when my brain is like on autopilot. That's when I'll feel or sense, there's like something's trying to blend with me, or something like that. So just be more aware of that, and then just, who is this, or what is this, and does it feel like it's a good energy or a bad energy? And if it's a bad energy, like go, just go, just go.
I feel like when I'm daydreaming, like I just daydream a lot. I've always daydreamed. I'll just zone out and stare at something and just be not present. And I feel like that's a lot of the time when things will just pop into my head, or ideas or anything like that as well. And I feel like children have a lot of ability to be able to connect. Because my daughter especially when she was really little, even to this day, she'll just stare into the corner of the room and start talking to the corner. And it just amazes me that, like, you know, because they're, you know, they're so pure and they have the ability.
They still have connection to the other side.
Well, we have my daughter Scarlett. She's super psychic. Like, she blows my mind, and I'm trying to honor that with her as well. She talks about a little boy that lives in our house named Tosi. So she speaks about him, and she goes, I play with Tosi, and we're like, oh, okay, that's wonderful that you play with him. And so she can see this little boy, and yeah, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, my little sister, when she was little, she used to have a like a, whatever you want to call it, a spirit, an imaginary friend. I don't know what people call them, but she always had a spirit that was there, and she would tell stories about her, and she would share things from her past and how she got over to the other side and everything like that, like insane. Yeah,
that's cool.
So, yeah, that has always amazed me, to the point that, yeah, you know, I've always believed, and I've always had little experiences. But yeah, it's just really cool. I love it. It's amazing.
It's so fascinating, so interesting. And I think just having the attitude, you know, of not knowing everything, you know, we're raised as kids, go to school, you've got to know everything. If you don't get 100% in a test, then you know, if you don't know anything, bullshit, we know everything. Like, this is the thing. If you come every day with your cup half full, willing to learn more and ask the universe, ask spirit, ask your, you know, higher self to keep showing you where to go. Like, for me, it's like I say to spirit all the time, you know me better than anybody else. You know what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
And you know what's in my heart of hearts. Just show me where I need to go. Show me what I need to do. Please bring to me or help me to be guided with the right people, the right places, the right opportunities, the right everything. And, you know, that's just the way I love to live my life now. Because if I was left to my own devices to try and figure it all out myself now, I'd be like, you know, straight back in the ditch.
No, to be open, I feel like every single day is a lesson, and every single day you can always learn more from anybody. Like, you can learn, I learn so much from every person that I meet, and you always take something from you each step of the way as well.
But it's hard to open up sometimes. Like, I know for me and a lot of people, our protection system is so high. Like, if you, like, for me personally, I can only speak for me, but also a lot of my clients who want to get well and healthy, to raise your immune system, you've got to lower your defense systems. If you're living your life where you're constantly having to defend yourself or put your protective walls up really high, then nothing's going to get in very easily. So you've got to find quiet time every day, sacred space, alone time where you can lower your defense system and, you know, and things like that. So
that was like yesterday I was having an emotional roller coaster day, and James, like my partner, could tell. So he's like, I'm going to go take the kids out and you can have some self-care time. I was like, yeah, sweet, thank you. Music is my therapy. So I put music on, I was singing, I was just letting my heart open. And then I just started crying, and I was just releasing all this that needed to come out. And you need it. You need things like that. Even daily, different rituals, things like that can help you move through these emotions and things that arise.
I totally agree. And that's why I love kinesiology, because literally things that people have held on to for years and years and years can just be released so quickly with like just holding acupressure points, using things like, you know, I love using vibrational healing tools with flower essences, essential oils, like sound. Like, you've got to shift that energy. We literally wad ourselves up so much, or we take on everybody's stuff all the time. A lot of the stuff that we're crying about isn't even our stuff. It's other people's stuff that we've seen or witnessed or felt, you know?
Yeah.
So having some support tools like your music or, you know, flower essences, like clearing your house out of all the negative energy and things like that is just so important.
It is 100%. Alison, who inspires you as a person, anything, like a profession, like what inspires you, or who, like a person, anyone?
Well, you know,
So many, I'm guessing.
yeah, you know, people who inspire me are the ones that are authentic, who walk their walk and talk their talk. You know, people who have lived a life and, you know, are awakened, who are conscious minded, who have been through stuff and truly know the meaning of love, gratitude, kindness, appreciation, like all those things that people really, really inspire me. Just people who have the courage every day to just live their life in whatever makes them happy, who don't care about what other people think, you know, just people who just are so just authentic and know the meaning of life. I think that life is precious, that life is a gift, and sometimes we worry about, you know, things, but it's all a journey. People who don't judge, like we're all going through a journey, like those kind of people I really admire and just inspire me. But, you know, I was thinking about this question as well before we started the interview, and it's funny because I probably wouldn't have said this before, like years ago, but my husband inspires me so much to think about where he comes from and the challenges that he's overcome. You know, my husband was born in Tonga. He was raised, basically him and his, you know, his parents went to New Zealand, left him and his two little brothers from the ages of 1 to 6 to fend for themselves, pretty much, left with relatives. But they were basically put in a little hut in a plantation, and they just lived on a, like, you know, basically lived by themselves at such a young age. And then finally met his parents and the rest of his family when he was like 6 years old, when he went to New Zealand. And it wasn't an easy life over there either. The family fell apart and was very dysfunctional. And so for him to come to Australia, meet me, and to overcome alcoholism, drug addiction, gave up smoking, and has worked his butt off to, like, you know, I grew up in Bagella Heights in Manly, for God's sake. You know, this guy grew up as a jungle boy, you know, and it hasn't been easy, but he inspires me so much because the inner confidence that he has, inner belief, like he is so comfortable with saying good things about himself. And I'm like, how can you, like, don't you feel bad, like, talking yourself up so much? But he's literally had to survive. You know, I'm so comfortable putting myself down all the time. But yeah, so I'd like to, you know, put my husband in there. He inspires me, and
that's really beautiful.
I love that. I just got like goosebumps, like my whole way down my body for a second, because that just made me feel so good. Like,
and he's my biggest supporter now. Like, he has been my biggest supporter ever since the beginning. Like, you know, he's worked hard and hasn't always been here because his job takes him away a lot of the time, and he works 12-hour days where he works away. But he's my biggest supporter. And, like, to have, you know, someone that is your biggest enemy sometimes and is the biggest catalyst to change can also be your biggest supporter is just beautiful. And I know we're soulmates because he dreamed of an Aussie girl when he was 14 years of age with long brown hair, and when he came over here and met me in a nightclub, I was working in a bar in Sydney in a nightclub, and walked up the stairs and saw me and actually said to his mate, I'm marrying that girl.
Wow, that is so
that's like freaky stuff. Like, I swear to God, that is our story. And we moved in together 2 weeks later, and yeah. So,
2 weeks later.
Crazy times. But
that's trust. That's trusting.
That's amazing. That's so good.
That is good.
Yeah, he knew instantly that I was the girl that he dreamed about all those years ago, and for whatever reason, there was that connection. So soulmates, past lives, whatever.
everything like
That's
that.
so cool.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Alison, what daily practices help ground you, like on a daily basis?
Oh, it used to be all the time going to the beach, sitting under my favourite spot at the Pines at Avoca Beach, because as soon as I go down there, it's just like the worst of the worst days. I just go down there, and just being at the beach, being in the ocean, I just had to do that every day. And then pulling my angel cards, pulling a card, asking for, is a daily spiritual practice, journaling and channeling. I just, have to listen to positive stuff sometimes, like I have to make that a priority, to tune into love, to tune into positive energy, to tune into something that is telling me to keep going, to keep doing this, you're doing okay. Like that is fills my tank up every day. So I guess that's, just getting better at loving myself and being gentle with myself and self-care and things like that. Yeah. So walking my puppy down at the beach, walking the dog, but definitely meditation, mindfulness, and pulling angel cards or oracle cards, and using essential oils.
I love it.
Flower essences and sprays to clean my, just all those kind of things. Practicing gratitude, writing gratitude lists and things like that.
Yeah.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. I journal every day. It's something that helps me. And I sound bowl. Is my sound bowl over there? That's something, sound is really, important to me. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Alison, if you had a message that you wanted to get out there to everyone that's listening today, what would it be?
Okay, so the message would be that self-love and self-care is not selfish, it's essential, and that your life is precious. It's just as precious as anybody else's, because I know that for the type of person I am, I tend to put other people in front of me. I would sacrifice my own needs, my own happiness. I feel so guilty, especially as a mum, and, so guilty. So I guess that would, be one of my biggest messages, is that really just to love yourself, value yourself, because the more you truly love and value yourself, the more you'll attract other people, jobs, places, things that can really love and value you too.
Yeah, self-worth is something that I'm definitely working through at the moment. Worthiness, allowing myself to feel worthy enough for these things to come into my life. It's definitely something I'm working on.
Keep it up. Like, it's a daily practice. And daily spiritual practice, forgiveness as well. Forgiveness is such a difficult as well as easy thing sometimes. So forgiveness, I love that saying, that forgiveness doesn't necessarily condone what people have done or what you've done, but it sets you free from like disconnecting that cord, just sets you free from all that baggage and that pain and everything. So forgive, because it's the most loving thing that you can do for yourself today and for your future and for your children and for your family, and to be like a really a role, like that was so important to me as a mum of two girls, to be a role model, to be like not a people pleaser like I was raised to be, just break those habits of women who are like raised to be people pleasers, or it's just
all that matters
exhausting.
Is yourself and what you believe in, and obviously putting yourself first in some respects, but helping others as you go along the way, but make sure you fill up your cup too.
Do you know?
Yeah, I can always be my best self when I have filled my cup.
Yeah.
I can be my best mother. I can be anything you want if I've filled my cup up, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. But that's why it's, you know, sometimes we're the stubborn, I feel like I'm like one of the really stubborn nutters that had to really, it was hard to crack me. I had to get really, 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 really sick, you know, really sick before I would finally surrender. Like, it was so hard for me to just do that. But, you know,
I feel like as well, being a mother, I feel like it's in the mother's manual or something to feel guilty all the time.
Mother's guilt.
Like, you know what I mean? Mum guilt is just never ending. But, you know, it does, obviously, like, you can work on it and things, but in the beginning, you just feel bad, like, about everything. Why didn't I do this or that? You know what I mean? So I guess just coming down to, you know, you are human, and just understanding and giving yourself a little bit of grace and just breathing, basically.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always forget to breathe.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Holding your breath and just let it all out. It's amazing.
Well, I think, you know, for me, it was a huge lesson to get, you know, selfishness was just a huge thing for me. Like, I used to have this saying, you can call me a bitch, but don't call me selfish. Like, to me, selfish was the worst thing in the world, because I had people in my life who I felt were very, very selfish. And especially my husband at times could be, you know, if they put their needs or their things above the well-being of you or your family, it can be really, really selfish. Yeah. So what we can do, like what I did is I went completely the other way, and I just, you know, went completely self-sacrificing, and that's not healthy either. So when I actually started to understand that, you know, selfishness, like that, he had a disease, he had an illness. So let's just separate that putting yourself first, making yourself a priority is not actually selfish, it's really essential. So I've had to clean up so much of my belief systems over the years, and 100%.
Couldn't agree more. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to speak to us, and it's been wonderful to speak to you and understand your story and just putting all those messages out there. We really, really do. We're so grateful for it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alison.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm halfway through my book, so hopefully that'll be
I'm excited.
So, thank you so much for having me on the show. And
Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to press subscribe and like our Facebook and Instagram, Secrets of the Soul. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.